What are we in that time? It started off as this beautiful journey with God, but then it led to like disappointment. And then I stopped waiting well. I was just waiting. So definitely challenging in that area.
Let me tell you, God can restore all time. When you find who God has for you, He can restore the lost time. So don't worry about the time. I'm telling you, we have done more than people that have been married 50 years.
I like what you said about that God restores lost time. It's really hard to remember something like that, especially when you have other people talking in your ear, always questioning about your dating life, your love life, whether it may be friends, whether it may be family, and they want to talk about, well, you should really just get with someone just to get over it. I'm like, no. I'm like, the reason why I don't deal with heartbreak is because I am who I am and God is leading me through to, I'm like, sticking to me, you know? Um, but that's something that's good to actually remember that God will restore time and good things will come to those who wait. And it's just whenever we do encounter things like that, and this is what I do for myself, where people question me and make me try to try to encourage a different path than what me and God are walking on after having like such conversation like in the midst of denying, like there's always might be like some kind of trickle of doubt that was just like sprinkled on during the conversation. You're like, well, maybe, well, there is such things called dating apps, and maybe I should look into that. I don't like dating apps. I don't want to deal with internet. I mean, each their own, each their own. But I just don't want to do that. I'm like, have to have a conversation between me and God. Like, God, it's our turn now because, like, let's reconcile. Because I just heard this, I just heard that. Let's get back into keeping me centered. Because either way, whatever you deal with in life, somehow, some way, there's a trajectory shift in your path. Because I don't know if you guys like seen this like show. It had um Akers in this show. He was like some kind of professional negotiator, and he was like on this plane, and there was these guys who was trying to hijack the plane, and he was like, and no one like who were like the other people that are off the plane, like the people who like study the trajectory of the plane, they didn't know that just a slight move of the plane was actually going to lead them away from their whole destination altogether. It looked like they were going the same direction, but if they kept going the way that they were going by this slight shift, we're going to be somewhere else. So so this is why like I encourage like if you just feel that shift in the spirit, like check in with the spirit, feel like something feels off. Something I just encountered, someone whether it's like something I saw, something like heard, um, whether it's like something you may even speak, something that doesn't even sound like you, something that's like, this doesn't really sound Christ like, or this doesn't really sound like Jesus, or this doesn't really just sounds like me being in my word, being in the spirit. I'm like, it's like, I got like whatever is like placed on me that is not of you, that is not aligning with you, that is not part of like the path that you set forth for me. Like I cast it out of me in the name of Jesus. Like I'm here for you. I'm here for what we got going on. I'm here to get the glory. And but that be that.
We already off our agenda, and this is good because yeah, yeah.
Well, it's almost kind of like to piggyback off of what Simone was saying, how get back into alignment and focus with the Lord. But there's sometimes when you're just so disappointed that
you know, whether it be you haven't found your mate or whatever it is, you're so disappointed that you give up on it and you don't even know how to come back to the Father to even, you know, declare and go to war for. And that's where I will circle back and talk about counseling for, because the way that their questions are asked and the way that they're posed are very targeted and very strategic. But in addition to that, they give scriptures. They point you back to Jesus. So even when you get into the weeds of whatever disappointment that you have or something that you're unsure about, Tandy and Charles are always pointing you back to scripture. And they'll give you scripture and they'll give you home. So even in those periods where it's like you want to get clarity but don't know how, or you're like, shoot, I've been waiting on this for so long, I don't even want it anymore. And you try to psych yourself out to not even, and you, even for me, I prayed. I'm like, Lord, if I'm supposed to be single, let me just get comfortable in that. Let me enjoy my family, enjoy my church family, and just let me settle into that. Because you've been waiting for so long, it's like, maybe you just until you psych yourself into settling in this place of disappointment. And that's kind of like what the book talks about. But if you haven't taken advantage of the counseling, definitely do that, because you will get challenged, you get asked questions, but most importantly, that course correction that Simone was talking about, you can get some guidance and help to get pointed back to the word and how to navigate out of that dark, that sunken place.
Thank you. Go ahead, Alyssa.
So I guess, like, I don't know if anyone else is wondering, how do you get the counseling session? Is it a like missionary you send to us, or explain a little bit about?
Come to us and say, hey, do this.
Oh.
Yeah. It's that simple. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fairly simple. You just let us know that you want counseling. And then what we do is because we counsel singles, but we also counsel married couples, okay? Premarital, marital. So we have a whole schedule. So what we do is once we know that you want counseling, then he and I will sit down and we'll look at our schedule, and then we'll get you on we'll plan your first counseling session, and then usually like 2 weeks after your first initial session, your second session is your follow up, and your when you come to counsel with us, just know that God leads everything. Most of the time when you come to counseling with us, we don't have an agenda, and God has pretty much already given us some foresight into what's going on with you. So you don't get to come and try to sugarcoat, because the Spirit of God has already revealed and told us what's going on with you. So that's one aspect. The second aspect is that when you come, you leave with homework. Again, this is about you getting new tools and discarding some tools that have been broken a long time. You never needed it anyway.
So I have a question regarding about counseling. So if people are to approach you about they want counseling, do they already need to know what they need counseling for or about? Because okay, good. They said no. People on people on the internet, they said no.
No.
It's just because the reason why I asked is because, like, I'm just going to be honest. Like, I think I'm okay. I think I'm fine. I think that, I've done a lot of like self just working on me and like trying to like get rid of all of these hurdles that I knew that was like struggling for my own growth, whether it's like within my family, within friends, like better myself. Like I always try to like soul search and looking like, what is the problem with me? What's going on with me? Because I'm like, what do I need to change about myself before I meet this my significant other? Like I always try to be like, what is it that's within me?
You want to know why you're not okay?
Oh God. Let's know. I want to know what else is there?
Because you carry too much.
Man, your first counselor took you to step no.
You try to figure out everybody else's problem. It drains you. And sometimes people use you.
I receive that. I receive that.
So that's just one step.
That's just one. You got more.
So again, to your point, if you have set yourself up to, I'm good. I don't need X, Y, and Z. Come see us. How about that?
I totally agree because I felt like if I felt this way, then there's something that I'm numb to because I am so
Absolutely.
used to it. I've been managing, I've been dealing, but what I most definitely understand what 2024 has shown me, which like I've been in here for so long, like you guys don't even know the hardships. I've told you guys already, like the hardships I did, but you guys never knew the extent of what kept on pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And it's like, I can't do this on my own. I can't do this by myself. Like through the grace of God, like I survived everything. And he has for like giving me the tools, the things I need to be able to make it out, not in my own timing. That's what kept like the anxiety and the stress on bay. But he still made it through for me every single time. So so now being in 2025, it's like I'm on edge because it's like I I'm so lean on him, like as I should, but it's like I don't. I'm so scared. I'm so scared about what's the next thing that's going to happen at this corner or at this turn. Like I'm like so worried about not only for me but for my family to be like I have to be the one in preparation for if danger was to come and any corner, any like given moment, just because like things that I just never thought that would happen to us would happen to me just kept hitting, and the thing is when it hit, they kept on rolling, and it wasn't even just one thing at a time. Two would come at a time, and three would come at a time. And once I got done with one, it was peace for a while, but then boom, another one. It's like,
So let me just encourage you. Yeah, just pause a minute.
sorry.
You're fine. But I want to encourage you. This is why it's important for you to stay connected. So coming to SALT and being committed to SALT, do not think that the enemy will not fight you for you to sever you, to disconnect you from it. But anything that the enemy don't want you to do, he gonna fight you to keep you from doing it. So based on everything you just said, your responsibility is to stay connected so that we can help you through some different aspects of what's going on in your life personally. So that means before you leave today, get connected to me and Charles. Give Angel the mic.
I used to be so fearful of the new year because I'm like, if this happens this year, who am I going to lose? And what is going to happen to follow me? And I mean, work and allowing the Lord to work in me. 2025, I went sick and I was not fearful. And I'm like, God, you brought me through that year and that year and that year. You're going to bring me.
and my family. And so he kind of allowed my thought process to shift. But I remember being at that point and being terrified, literally like terrified. But he blows my mind, continues to blow my mind, makes all things new, and totally healed my thought process and my thought. I feel this like Lord, what you doing in here? Like it's something, and I'm like, you're for it. You're gonna get the opportunity. So I want to kind of keep us rolling. So we also wanted to talk about the Battle Ready series. The Battle Ready series was to teach you about your armor, the importance of your armor, how you have to put on the whole armor and not pieces of the armor. Because when you put on pieces of the armor, now you have a casualty in how you navigate throughout life every day. Okay? And so that series was in Holy Spirit Birth. And we did the Battle Ready series because God wanted to ensure that you understood what your tools are and how to effectively apply them and put them on in your everyday life. Right? So, for example, if you had a table of arsenal, you had tools and whatever it was that you're supposed to go to war with, and for some reason the lights went out, how would you know what to grab? What tool would you pick up to use depending on the situation or whatever it was that you were facing? Would you say, Holy Spirit, okay, tell me, I have no vision, but I have your vision. So tell me which tool to. Would you automatically, in your spirit and in your natural man, know to pray first? That's a tool. What's the first thing you do? When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? Are you praying? Because you can pray as you're getting dressed. You can pray while you're in the shower. Are you? Because you don't know what's going to happen within your day. You don't even know what's going to take place. So the Battle Ready series is very pivotal in teaching you about the armor of God and how to apply it. Which goes back to everything that's done within salt is God breathed. It's not just, we just not making stuff up. You want to add? Nope. You said you don't touch it? Yeah. So that series was really important. If you don't know, we do have a YouTube channel. If you didn't see the series, go to Salt YouTube channel and watch the series. Feed your spirit. Begin to feed your spirit on a daily basis. When you drive and throw on your worship music. Shout out to Worship Wednesday. Worship Wednesday. If you're not on the Teams chat, get connected. These are all avenues and tools to keep you encouraged, to keep you equipped throughout your week. Because you're not going to get it all on Sunday. You're just not. You're not. So that's really important. Really important. No, I don't think so. And so after the battle series, what was
We had our first annual Friendsgiving.
yeah.
That was so much fun. Thank you again, Charles and Tanisha, for opening their home to all of us.
Absolutely.
All y'all want to singing?
I was like,
That was so much fun. I wasn't in there when y'all was singing, but that was fun. I was like kind of catching some of y'all. That was fun.
We did our friends
Thanksgiving and close the year out, closing the Battle Ready series with Pastor as well as like after party. Yeah, well, let's roll on in. Okay, start.
Y'all should get real excited. I just don't what to do.
So yeah, so you might see us like grinning to each other from time to time because there's so many things that are coming in 2025, things that aren't even like full baked ideas yet, but we are so thrilled. So we just kind of want to give you guys a little sneak peek, a little overview of like what's to come. So of course January, like we were talking about, we like kind of relaunched the book club. Signs.
I don't sound right.
Now it's on. I can hear myself now. Okay, cool. So January we kind of like relaunched the book club because that was like, it almost felt like it was a one-off because the last time we did it was in June of last year, and so we relaunched it. It's now called Pages of Purpose or Pop Book Club because everything that we choose to, it's not even like we're reading through. We literally study through the book. So everything that we choose to study through, it's purposeful, it's intentional, and we know that it's going to speak to you guys, and that's been proven both times now.
It's a beautiful name.
Yeah, I wonder who came up with that. Yeah, it was definitely Charles' idea. That's what he's getting at. But yeah, so that's still going because the month of January isn't quite over yet, so we're almost done with that. Oh yes, and so actually, this coming Saturday will be the last discussion session for the book club, and Pastor Mary is actually joining us for that session. She's going to do like a whole Q&A and give some more insights and wisdom into like, just her heart behind the book. And so for future, we might not always get to have the author with us for the discussion, but regardless of that, it's we don't want anybody to miss out on the experience that we have like with the book club. Like I said, it's not that we're just like reading a cute, fun little book and then okay, cool, we did it. Next, you know what I mean? It's intense. Tears have been shed in our Zoom discussions. Testimonies have been given, and again, like Tanisha said, we have homework. So pretty much anything that we ever do with Install, which is again why we work so hard at it. We don't want to just give you cute, fun stuff to do, Instagrammable moments, and go home. We're not just a social group. It's something that I think we all believe that there should be a 360 approach to the Christian walk, the Christian life. And so everything that we do contributes to that, and that includes the book club. And so I'm excited for the next time. I don't know what it's going to be. Again, we don't just choose randomly for no reason.
We don't gotta work hard at it because God got it.
There you go.
So there you go.
So stay tuned for whenever that comes back. But this month has been like so much fun and so cool. And so yeah, so today, we're having this like whole Q&A meeting. It's the first time we've done that, and we plan to do that, every now and then as we feel like it's necessary, because I think the overarching theme of SALT is transparency and authenticity and communicating and having like a safe place to share, a soft place to land where, you can't exactly raise your hand during Sunday service and ask your questions, or touch on certain topics. But you can do that here. And so we want it's like Q&A times to be something that we do regularly. So yay, for new things. So February, who's got plans for Valentine's Day? Sorry, that was a trick question. I don't have plans either.
But guess what? You do now because we are going bowling together on the 16th. That is a Sunday. So we're not going to be in here for third Sunday, February. We're going to go bowling. So tonight, people look on the team chat. I'll put in the little RSVP thing. We do plan to have dinner as well because why not? It's just fun and we all love to eat, right? So yeah, we're gonna go bowling, dinner, super cute, super fun. There will be teams. We haven't decided if there's going to be a trophy. We haven't discussed that yet, but you know, there's no real losers. But I mean, somebody's going to lose. It's not going to be me. So just saying. So that's February, and then March through October, we're having another series. We're having another series, and it's actually going to be on the 9 gifts and ministries of the Holy Spirit. And so, same way that we did the Battle Ready series, we're going to take each gift, each individual one, and we're going to focus in on it each month up until October. And that's probably, honestly, in my opinion, I feel like that's going to be a little bit more of an intense series than the Battle Ready series was. No, I don't think so. Not yet. But I hope you guys are excited because we are buzzing. Like we are so excited for that. So again, more details to follow, but definitely, I hope you guys are excited, interested, and like ready to study hard because this is such a powerful teaching and so important to familiarize yourself with to understand. Hopefully we are all kind of on the same page with the Holy Spirit is not a thing, person, right? And so I don't want to say a whole lot, but yeah. So new series coming soon. We're very excited about it. It's gonna run all the way. Yeah, it's gonna run all the way through October and October. And this is where I want you guys to actually pull your phones out if you have them with you or if they're within reach, and put this on your calendar now. Right now. I should pull up my calendar while I'm talking. Sure, drum roll. Give me a drum roll. Let's do it. So the quietest drum roll ever. So on October 25th, we are having our first annual singles conference. Shocked and appalled. I know that's why you guys said it. So yeah, no, we are having our first of May. This is the first annual singles conference. Do we want to tell the name, or do we want to tell the name? We can't tell. We can't tell you the name. I'm sorry. We can't tell them the names. Change the name. We can't. We might get in trouble. But I will tell you that this conference. Oh my God, you're not ready. The support of your leaders here at Revival Center is phenomenal. So I just want you to know that we got full back. We got heavy hitters, y'all.
I will say this. We're not a small group anymore.
No.
We're a ministry.
We stopped being a small group almost immediately. But we have now been designated as a ministry. Yes. Yeah, talk about it. Yeah. So it's time for you to get in this thing and stay and be present and be a part and be committed because it's real. It is real. That's all we can give you. Little side note, it is a weekend. It's not like a 1 day, 1 hour kind of conference. No, it is a weekend. Yeah, it's gonna be like opening Friday night. Going all the way on Friday. Yep. We'll have a Saturday session, and then we'll end off the conference and service that Sunday.
And I'm performing on Friday night with a praise band.
All right. I know you're Charles. Davon, we need you to fly in for the conference. Yeah, we want to meet you. We hear your voice all the time, but we haven't. She put a thumbs up in the corner. I see. Yeah, so that's October, and then of course November, second annual Friendsgiving. But in December, we're actually going to take a break because we imagine it is going to be a very full and busy year, and we'll need all that time to like rest, recuperate, and then plan for 2026. So yeah, that's what our year is looking like so far. Yeah.
No Christmas party in December?
Well, once we,
I really
once
don't have
once the conference is done, we just wanted to be mindful that, we have a busy year ahead of us, right? And I would say us, your leaders, are gonna need to reprieve. After transitioning out of the conference, did we say? Yeah, okay, Friendsgiving. And I mean, you can see like the Friendsgiving is already, we're in the holiday swing of things. So having the one party versus two makes more sense. And then it gives everybody an opportunity to rest and prepare themselves for the new coming year. So that's kind of why we did it. That's it. That's it. All right. So now icebreaker, sir.
Okay. Everybody stand up. Come to the front.
Take your legs out. Down. Right.
All right. So here's the icebreaker. I'm gonna say God is. God is. We're gonna keep going until someone can say what God is. And you move out. See how many people. Right? Sure. God is.
Press right.
Ooh. God is.
El Shaddai.
Ooh. God is.
Redeemer.
Ooh. God is.
The protector.
Ooh. God is.
Sovereign.
Ooh.
Yeah.
God
I
is.
am that I am.
Ooh. God is.
Wait.
Hey, hey.
I'm getting so nervous.
God is.
Good.
Ooh. Chicken is good. God is. All of it. God is.
My friend.
When?
God is
God
good.
is.
Faithful.
Faithful.
Alpha.
Helpful.
Omega.
Huh?
God is good. What you want to say?
All the time.
Somebody already said that.
Oh,
She's off. She's off.
that's I can't hear. If they don't have a mic, I can't hear.
God is.
She said something.
God is.
Father.
You
What else
God
you want to
is.
say? God is what?
Somebody said that already. God
holy.
Okay. Oh. Okay. I got Ron's answer too. So when it comes around, I'm gonna say what she said. But if you are talking on a microphone, she cannot hear unless you have this microphone up to your mouth. Okay.
God is.
Her creator.
God is.
Lover of my soul.
God is.
Peace.
Peace. God is.
The sun.
Son.
God is.
Great.
God is.
The rock.
God is.
Omniscient.
That was good.
Omniscient.
God is.
to leave my head.
Go say it.
5,
Go
4, 3, 2, 1. God is.
My everything.
What was Dave?
God is
God is.
holy.
God is.
Merciful.
Hello?
God is.
Omnipresent.
No,
She said omniscient.
God is.
My parent. Okay. That works.
God is.
The joy and the strength of my life.
That's too many.
God is.
Ancient of days.
God is.
Almighty,
God is.
my firm foundation.
God is.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy
God is.
Wonderful counsel.
God is.
Moving mountain.
God is.
The truth.
God is.
Worthy.
God is. 5, 4, 3, 2,
Handsome.
1.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I guess you can love Argus if they have to set our game.
Accept that.
Okay, what do you say?
God
Somebody
is.
already say trustworthy? Oh, shoot.
I know, I forgot.
I don't know.
Dave Bonds.
Oh, yeah, what did Davon say?
Devon, did you have an answer?
Consuming fire.
A consuming fire. I was there, Jamie.
Thank you, girl.
No, that was somebody said that already.
I was just playing. I said,
God is.
Able.
Nice. God is.
On time.
Yeah, on time.
God is.
time redeemer.
I said, oh, no, I said redeemer.
She stole that. She stole that from me. God is.
Number 1 counselor.
All right.
God is.
Lily of the Valley.
Ooh.
She went old school. God is. God is.
The way, the truth, and the life.
God is.
Forgiving. Yes.
Forgiving. Somebody said that.
What was that?
Forgiving.
No.
I don't think that's it. Oh, she's good. She's good.
God is.
Refiner.
Nice. Nice. Come on.
God
Let's
is.
go. My provider.
Somebody said that. Fire.
They did that right now.
No,
No,
somebody
because
said
only
God.
provider.
Okay.
You said, yeah, you said, yeah.
Devon, what you got?
Except me, I have energy.
God is.
My adore.
Giver of every good and perfect gift.
I adore.
Oh, yeah. Devon said,
God is.
God.
God is.
Did you say my good and perfect gift?
Giver of every good and perfect gift.
Giver of every good and perfect gift. Okay.
God is.
No, I'm out. Yeah.
God is.
Terrible water. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go.
God is.
We had sustainer.
There you go. Nice.
God is.
Okay, yeah, it's okay.
God is.
My consistent company.
God is.
Elohim.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
God is.
My Potter.
Is it?
My Potter. There we go. Okay.
The harder ones will put you back together again. God is.
My healer.
God is.
Heart.
Huh?
My heart.
God
Got
is.
one more? Perfect in all his ways.
Say that one more time.
Perfect in all his ways.
They so loud. I can't.
Okay.
Perfect in all his ways.
Perfect in all his ways.
Devon is looking up things.
All right, Devon.
Tell them I'm over here cooking dinner.
God is.
Especially in there cooking dinner.
Jehovah.
God is.
A righteous judge.
Ooh.
There he is.
God is.
my firm foundation.
Oh, that's out. Somebody said that. Oh, they did?
He won't. You won't. You won't play. You won't play.
Sit down.
Sit down. Sit down. God is.
The source of all of my creativity.
God is.
Waiting on the prompt.
God is.
Bread of life.
Oh.
God is.
Fear the high Lord.
Ooh. God is.
The only living God.
Yes.
God is.
El Shaddai.
Yeah.
Somebody think it? I don't think so. There's a lot of L's.
I know.
Yeah, I think that's it.
God is.
Oh, okay.
Emmanuel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's in. That's in.
God is.
It's my friend.
Come back. God is.
Avon.
King of Kings.
King of Kings.
Hey.
Okay.
God is.
Lord of Lords.
God
A
is.
strong tower. Come on.
God is.
My savior.
God is.
Living water.
Yes, Cheryl.
God is.
The fountain that never runs dry.
Oh.
Yes.
God is.
Yes.
God is.
Okay, Davon.
Oh my gosh. Rock and Fortress.
Yeah.
God is.
Rock. He's her rock and fortress. Okay. Wait, didn't someone say that?
Everybody said it. She's all.
I think somebody said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's all.
You all day.
Okay.
God is.
My lighthouse.
In the picture. God
I
is.
don't know if anyone said mighty, but I'm going to say mighty. I'll hear it. Mighty.
God is.
The one who calms the storms.
Come on. Catherine in her Bible.
God is.
My inner strength.
God is.
My portion.
Yeah. God is.
Waymaker.
And somebody said
Miracle
it.
worker.
So you all. God is.
One of them is gonna win. Priceless. Priceless. Beautiful.
God is.
Circle's getting smaller. Come on. Lightning round. Let's go.
God is. 5, 4, 3, 2.
The love of my life.
Somebody said it. Yeah.
No, somebody said the lover of my soul, but not the love of my life.
God is.
Right, hurry up.
He's strong.
Okay.
Okay.
God is.
Always reliable.
God is.
My banner of victory.
Go.
God is. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Holy Spirit.
Loud.
God is.
Don't say that. We don't say Jesus.
Come on. And is.
Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Okay. God is.
Jehovah Nissi.
Ooh. God is.
My defender.
Ooh. God is.
The lifter of my head. Come on.
God is. 5.
Rapha.
Jehovah Rapha.
God is.
The one that shut the mouth of the fire.
Come on.
God is.
The one who was in the fire with him.
Oh.
Now we run out of single things.
God is.
I'm about to go on a testimony time in a second. Wow, we got that.
God is.
All things worthy.
Ooh. God is.
Just
Ooh.
Nice.
God is.
He holds the whole world in his hands.
God is.
My sword and my shield.
God is. God is.
Favorite.
Okay, now, so when I say God is, you gotta say something.
No time in between.
God is.
He has a sword on his tongue.
All right, Judge. What you think? No. God is.
Victory.
God is.
A word.
God is. God is. God is.
Victory. Victory.
Yeah, somebody say it.
We got two. We got two. We got two.
God is.
My shield.
God. Oh.
Here's the winner. Congratulations. Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
Somebody open your gift. Took one off. That was a good game, right?
That was super fun.
I came up with that.
They got very.
There used to be a song. God is the joy and the strength of my life. He moves all pain, mystery, and strife. I promise never to leave.
Y'all sing?
Never come short of his love. I got the fast and brave, stay in the narrow way. Lord, keep my life clean every day. I want to go with you when you come back. And I'm never going back. God is.
Is that a bathroom?
All right. Thank you for that A and B selection.
Shirley C. And then Shirley C. Yeah.
All right, so we are moving right along. We're gonna do a raffle. So if everybody has their raffle tickets, does anybody not have a raffle ticket?
Oh,
She's claimed it in faith. Alyssa is the winner. We'll see. We shall see. All right, all right, all right. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be?
last three numbers. 1, 5, 5.
155. Anybody? Anybody? How is there no up? No one left. Is it the baby? Does she have a ticket? I don't know how that's. Oh, every time people rock ticket, the first one is always like, oh, here comes. Okay, well. Next time we're gonna have a timer. 10 seconds to claim your prize. Congratulations! Congratulations! Lady, what the? Open, open, open. What is it?
It's a light and there's a speaker as well, so you can play music. Yeah.
Future.
Want to do the last one? Last one? Rap.
Okay.
I like this because it makes it sound. 1, 5, 1.
Congratulations.
you get? What'd you get? What'd you
Open
get?
it, open it.
If
open
God
it.
is the giver of all good gifts, I have to.
Stay hydrated. 2025. Yeah.
Trust that somewhere in this space of contentment and desire.
I'll give it back. I'll give it back. I don't need it. Take it. Take it. Put it in the raffle. I'll do Charles. I'll take it.
Oh, look at how kind. So we're gonna do another raffle. Yay! Okay, keep your raffle tickets out. Here we go. Someone has been chosen. Oh.
Fair, right?
You want to introduce the video?
Yeah, okay, so like we said, today we're doing a bunch of like Q&As and stuff. And so we do have a little video. It's pretty short. I think it's only like 5 or 6 minutes. And it's all about embracing singleness. So we're gonna watch it, and if anything comes up for you, thoughts, questions, comments, whatever, feel free to raise your hand at the end, and we'll talk about it, and then we'll move on to the next section. Yay!
If God is the giver of all good gifts, I have to trust that somewhere in this space of contentment and desire, there's a space for me to surrender to God and trust Him. Hi, I'm Jen. I'm by Tara Lee Cobble. And today let's talk about being a single sister, being a single brother, because I'm guessing you've also received this question. So, why aren't you married? And people mean it well, I think, but it's a very off-putting question because it can feel like now I have to explain why I'm not where this person thinks I should be, to the point I've even found myself at times apologizing. Oh, wow. And I shouldn't do that. I'm happy where I am, but at the same time, it's so strange. So I'm curious, how do you respond to compliment, right? They like, how can somebody as amazing as you still be single? Why hasn't somebody snatched you up? And I think they do mean it well, because they're trying to express the value. You know, sometimes for us, if we're sitting in a space of illness, it hits to that thing. Like, I mean, I've at times felt like, yeah, why am I single? So I don't receive it as the compliment that it is intended as sometimes. And I think that says a lot about like what's happening in my heart, that it stirs up that frustration. One of the things I've had to lean into is just trusting the goodness and the sovereignty of God.
That's so weird.
I
feel like I'm
the story of my whole life, which includes the story of my singleness. So what best makes is my singleness. That His specific gift to me is decide what gift I'm given and when. I'll just say like, oh man, I feel like we should ask God that question, you know? But
Okay, good grief. So weird. It is hot now.
I Tara Lee Cobble
so, like,
of the Bible
glitchy,
recap.
we're missing,
God.
That's what it's doing.
KSBJ, and today see this question. So, why aren't you married? And people mean it well, I think, but it's a very off-putting question because it can feel like now I have to explain why I'm not where this person thinks I should be to the point.
It's not gonna work.
I even found myself at times apologizing. And I'm happy where I am, but at the same time, it's so strange. So I'm curious, how do you?
Who got it?
If God is the giver of all good gifts, I have to trust that somewhere in this space of contentment and
I am. Can you guys just wait just a second, please? Thank you.
there's a space for me to. Hi, I'm Jen from Middays on KSBJ, joined by Tara Lee Cobble of the Bible Recap of the God.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
All good gifts. I have to trust that somewhere in this space of contentment and desire, there's a space for me to surrender to God and trust Him. Hi, I'm Jen from Middays on KSBJ, joined by Tara Lee Cobble of the Bible Recap of the God Shot, which you've heard on KSBJ. And today, let's talk about being a single sister, being a single brother, because I'm guessing you've also received this question. So, why aren't you married? And people mean it well, I think, but it's a very awkward question because it can feel like now I have to explain why I'm not where this person thinks they should be. To the point I've even found myself at times apologizing. Wow. And I shouldn't do that. I'm not right now, but it's so strange. So, how do you respond to comment like that? Yeah. Right? They like, how can somebody as amazing as you still be single? Why doesn't somebody snatch you up? And I think they do mean it well because they're trying to express the value that they think that we have. You know, sometimes for us, if we're sitting in a space of being frustrated with our singleness, it gets to that thing like, I mean, I at times felt like, yeah, why am I single? Like, why am I single? Like, it anchors into frustration. So, I think that's a lot about. God's best possible gift to me in this specific moment is my favorite. I do hope there will be a day that his specific gift to me is marriage. But when Paul talked about singleness and marriage, he talked about God as the giver of those gifts, the giver of the gift. Decides what gift they give. They give it. I don't get to decide what gift I'm giving it with. I'll just say like, oh man, I feel like we should ask God that question. You know, like I would love to have a different gift, and when He sees fit, I'm sure He'll give me a different gift, and I'm going to try to rejoice in this gift for now and keep hoping that I get a different gift someday. It really forces me to look at the posture of my heart in my singleness and the posture that I have toward God is the giver of singleness, the giver of marriage. Well, you reminded me of a scripture I want to say in Psalms, no good thing is to withhold from those who love Him. And so if I can get my mind on scripture, that's much better than what I don't have, because that leads me to another topic. If you're not where you want to be in life, whatever it is, discouraging and focus on that and start about blessings. How do you encourage your friend to wishing they were in the next season, or something you do that encourages? No, it shouldn't because it doesn't end well. Yeah, I feel like I don't know if you feel the similar way, but for me, there's this tension. And joyful and grateful for the gifts that I have and where I am, and looking at the things that I long for, and still having enough hope to ask God for those things, and to trust that, like you said, no good thing is withhold from those who walk uprightly. And so, if God is the giver of all good gifts, and marriage is a good gift, and singleness is a good gift, I have to trust that somewhere in this space of contentment and desire, there's a space for me to surrender to God and trust Him. So if I only have contentment and I have no desires, then I kind of don't even need to trust God for the future. And if I don't have contentment and I only have desires, then I'm not even trusting God for the now. And in those spaces of lack and tension are the spaces where I get to say, I have desire. That's loud. And it's really hard to know someone you don't spend time with. And so for me, the way that I'm going to set my heart on straight, where I'm going to live well in that tension, is if I'm trusting God by knowing Him, by spending time with Him, by being in His Word, by being around His people, by engaging in intimacy in my relationship with Him, and the hope that I have, whether this space that I'm in now ever moves to these longing fulfilled or not, is that Psalm 16:11 says, "In His word there is joy; at His right hand there are pleasures forever." And so, longing fulfilled or unfulfilled, I'm already engaging with the one eternal relationship that I have that brings you this joy. So that's the thing that I think that seems to be that is one thing that's like is when you're around people that are married with kids that think that I think that can be more challenging. But I also like listening to scripture, like in the morning and at night to keep my mind in a good place. Yeah. Because you reminded me as talking, share Psalm 16:11, godliness having is great gain. So if I can just saturate my mind and what he's done, then that helps change what I think I want. Whether or not I get it, believe that nothing is impossible for him. But where I am right now, and I want to enjoy it. I don't want to wish it away and look back in 5 years and think, I wasted so much time because I was frustrated that I wasn't where I thought that I should be. I don't want to waste time. I've done that before. So I like that more time spent with it gets my mind right. Yeah, agree. You go on and on and on, talk about dating stories, which are either good times or good stories. We'll save that for our next video. Gotcha on page J, or we'll link below so you can binge all the episodes that you missed because I know there's a lot. Thank you so much for your time and thanks for joining us today.
That's how we make it. The comments are wild.
We want you guys to share some nuggets based on what you just heard. Hold on.
Hi.
Is the mic like this?
Oh, it's on the table.
Oh, it's on the table. Button is on the front, the square.
Left side.
One thing that I took away from the video was when the lady said, you know, it's hard to know somebody that you never spend time with. And it immediately reminded me about spending time with God because we were just talking about knowing God for ourselves and being content in our singleness. And so it was just like a reiteration of how important it is to spend time in the Word of God and spend time in the presence of God because if we don't know who God is, we can't trust Him with our lives and the things that we're dealing with in life. Yeah. Very good. Anybody else? Yeah, I think I just want to echo that sometimes I feel like time is one of the most valuable things we have, no matter like how much money we got or all the things we have. And so I think about a lot how if I were cuffed or if I had a partner at this time, like if I'd even be able to balance the relationship that I want with God with that person, if I'm like emotionally ready for that. And honestly, like he knows me so well, he knows that right now I just need to continue to foster that relationship and that I'm really lucky to have all this time. And I think remembering that that's like truly a privilege to have the time to spend with him and to get to know him so that we can continue to trust him. That is so good. That is so good. Are you able to balance? and not put God secondary to the person you're dating.
Just to piggyback off on that, it was some random Instagram video. I don't even know who it was. Honestly, I wish I would have saved it because I'm sure there was a lot more that could have been pulled out of it. But to Cass's point, some person that I watched was saying, people get frustrated, like, oh God, why would you send me someone? And he's thinking from God's perspective, he's like, I can't send somebody to you for you to be in a relationship with them because I'll lose. You know what I mean? So it could,
Say that one more time.
I forgot what I said.
You said, I'm gonna repeat it because I ain't forgotten. So what she said was pretty much what God is saying is if I send you somebody, then I lose you. Because you're gonna begin to exalt that person above me.
Whether you intend to or not.
Whether you intend to or not. And the God we serve is a jealous God. And so if it's going to take away from the time that this is why being single and understanding perspective of what that truly means is so important. Because just let me say this, as a married woman, that my husband does not supersede God. That means I go to God for everything. And I know to go to God first in everything. So I don't exalt him over God, even though we're one. But in your singleness, in your dating, most single individuals exalt whoever they're dating over everything else, including God. That's a nugget. And if you can truly be honest with yourself and say that in the place you're in right now, if somebody came into your life, that you would still keep God number one, okay, we'll see. We'll see.
That's good.
Go ahead, Taylor.
I think what just happened here is so wild because I was literally in my car debating on singles songs because I'm like I'm not interested in dating. I know that I'm pursuing God and I can't pursue him and pursue somebody else. It will take my time, and right now I want my time completely devoted to God. And so saying all of this, I'm like, that's me. Until God is done doing whatever he is in me, I'm not willing to get caught off track or divide my time because I know me. And
go ahead, keep talking because something just rolls up in my spirit, but I gotta say something.
I think that's kind of it.
So, in conjunction to what you just said, was so key to what you just said. When he comes, he gonna push you further into the presence of God. He's gonna make sure that you don't forget about God first. Because he gonna know that unless you're seeking God first, you can't fully love him unless you're seeking God first. Oh my Lord. Did y'all get that? Yeah. Oh my God. If you didn't have a foundation of what this is really all about, that was the core right there. As you commit to putting God first and knowing in your heart that you don't want anything to interfere with your relationship with God, when he comes and he see you, he gonna be pushing you further into the presence of God. Because he gonna know y'all can't make it unless he got a praying wife. A praying wife. I'm just saying. My God.
That's what God showed me. Not that you
Hold on, sir. Talk in the microphone.
It's not that you was hesitating coming here. You don't want to waste your time. If it's not impactful, you don't want to do it. That's what God showed me.
Okay, Cheryl, he's bringing the mic to you. I just had to get that out with no interruptions.
But you know what? With what you just said about the push, so therefore, that's how you know if Johnny come lately or Sally Sue come your way. If they not pushing you towards God, they not the one. They are not.
And if they're not worshiping God, then you should say bye, Felicia.
Because he should already be in the presence. He should be already committed to the presence of God. He should already, you don't have, when it comes down to it, he should be as much as a worshiper of God as you are of God. There won't be, he won't look totally different from the way you look. That's all I'm saying. He gonna be running after God. That's how he gonna be able to recognize that you running after God. Because he already running after God. And he ain't gonna want nothing that ain't running after God like he running after God. I'm just saying. You always gotta throw a joke in. Go ahead, Sloan.
I just want to say this as a testimony that everything that you guys are saying is absolutely correct. Because, like, even though I wasn't really dating or anything, and I already said my say about like online dating, doesn't mean I wasn't talking, but it did. Thank goodness that it was online because I was able to like be separated from myself from them because they were like more further out and not closer to me. And I'm pretty sure if they were closer to me, it would have been very a toxic moment for me in my world of confusion. Plus, having people talking in my ear and then thinking like, well, I remember I used to be thinking this way and I wanted to go this way or that way. But I started thinking like, well, what is Jesus' way? What is God's way? How do I want to lead myself towards that? And the thing is, everything all resoluted to what God wanted for me, and what I knew He wanted for me, and how to keep myself safe and to still follow within my path. And also taking in about what you said, that's how I kind of like feel about now is that I don't, and this is what I tell my friends, and I kind of shut them down about talking about my relationships because I'm like, it's not because they try to make jokes to me saying like, oh well, you're married to Christ, you're married to Jesus, like you're Jesus, Jesus' wife. I'm like, I'm not a nun. Don't like, like I I try not to feel upset about it because I'm like, well, I love God, I love Christ. But at the same time, you're making a joke about it. It's not really coming from a loving space. You're making a fun of me about it. But it's like no harm, no foul towards me and my friendships or anything. It's just that, I'm just at a space right now where I told God before the year started that, you know what, for my New Year's resolution, my goal is to say yes to you as much as possible. And I want to say where my life will be within this year. What does that look like to say yes? Because I was so scared so often too much all last year.
Yeah, but we're looking at this year.
We're looking at
you're not going back to next year. And I started with you by saying commitment. You got to show up. Period. There's nothing after the period. You got to show up. You got to stay present. You got to stay committed. Irregardless of what it feels like or look like. Because your walk is not her walk. And her walk is not her walk. Period. That's it.
I don't need no man right now.
That's it. But that was a whole wealth of information for every single person. Y'all online too, okay? If he ain't pushing you into the presence of God, that ain't it. Period.
Well, this is something that stuck out to me.
Correct. Well, Gracious and I, we literally got caught up on the same line. Because I think Gracious and I are in the same vulnerable space. I think there is a beautiful maturity about seeking the Lord and putting Him first. And I think both of us have the heart and the mind to do that. But I still think there's that vulnerable space. And before I get to this line, I'm going to attack that line. I used to get triggered when people say, how is someone so amazing like you single? And it used to bug me so bad because then I started to think there must be something not amazing about me. It irritated my
okay, so
soul.
what's wrong with you?
Right. And so it was like a tender point, and I had to let God deal with that. But moving on, the line somewhere in between contentment and desire, and that resonated with me because I think at a moment like I found myself kind of running back and forth between contentment and desire. And the closer I got to contentment, it felt like I was like ignoring my desire. And so that was like really troubling for me because it's like, hey, I know what it feels like to be content and this is cool, but I'm ignoring the desire. And then I finally got to the place where it was like, actually, you're surrendering desire. So I'm still in that process. And may the Lord watch.
Well, to your point, Ninja, yes, that was something that stuck out to me, but it's kind of like it mushes in with that. The looking at my heart posture during singleness, but also
she can have it. She can have that. She can have it. Let her have it. She can have it. She is fine. Listen.
But also it's looking at the things that I long for and still having hope. That was like in conjunction with what Ninja just said, that's something that I struggled with because it's like what I originally may have thought was contentment, I was burying. And it's like, how do you, and this is something that I was praying about, like, how do you go from a place of being triggered or being a soft point to still hoping and expectation without it stinging, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. I want to kind of build on that because there's this prayer I actually found on it's like a TikTok. Ooh. Anyway, but
you can R.I.P. TikTok.
No, but it was super. I feel like it was like over this very like typical like someone just got married and I feel like the desire to have a partner also just like sways back and forth. You kind of just like think about it and you're like I'm good. But I feel like thinking of this prayer allows me to really sit like sit in that tension because I am content where I am and I think a lot of us are, but that desire doesn't go away just because of the contentment. When I think about it, it allows me to trust God more is that I might not be getting a lot of attention right now because I am protected from all the eyes that do not deserve to see me. And only the eyes that need to see me will witness me. And when they see me, it won't be confusing to them that I am who they're meant to pursue. And so it won't be confusing. So if ever I'm like, why is nothing happening? I just gotta remember, oh, it's because I prayed that, and I gotta trust that God is legitimately doing that right now, and is right now also cultivating the person that is meant to be in my space and is meant to be pushing me towards God. And so if I pray that and then don't trust, that's on me, you know? But after praying that, you allow yourself to feel the contentment and to feel the desire at the same time. And I think that's the thing that like is just like running in my head over and over again is that prayer, just like a prayer of protection over my heart and all this work that I've been doing, like running towards Him. You know, because we don't want to take steps back. Sometimes people can do that to us. So,
That is
How old are you?
I know.
Minister Cass. 24. Yeah.
Do you have the prayer? Can you share the prayer?
Give her the mic because we can't hear her online.
I mean, it changes all the time, but I mostly just like, if ever I'm like, oh man, I'm feeling really lonely right now. It's like, dear God, I trust that you protect me from eyes that don't need to see me, that eyes of men that might take advantage of me, of my kindness, of my capability to love. And God, I know that right now you're cultivating a person that is going to meet me when I'm ready and when they're ready, and it's not going to be confusing. And like, you're going to open up both of our hearts at the same time. There's not going to be any like right person, wrong timing kind of thing. It's always going to be in your time. So if ever I feel like I'm not getting any attention, it's all meant to be for my protection.
Amen.
Oh, we can go home.
She said to get in
We can go home. Whoa.
Tamara, she wanted to say something.
I did have a question now. So I'm hearing so much about desire. And the thing is, like, as we talk about desire, I'm kind of feeling like when we speak about desire, it doesn't sound positive. It kind of sounds like an annoying burn or annoying pain, annoying kind of poison. And I kind of felt like that way before. But my question is like, wouldn't it or shouldn't it be more of like the desire that we have, the desire that sits on our heart, it should be enjoy, like joyous. Like this joyous kind of burn of what is to come is a promise.
From
In our
like
heart.
joyful expectation more than like a unmet need or unmet desire. And I think that's what you're differentiating.
Because I don't know. Because it's just that even though we're so like involved with our own timing, that's why it just seems annoying. And it's just like that's where it kind of just leads to, well, are you trusting God for that? Or are you trusting God into handling it? That he's actually taking care of that for you.
I think it differs per person, right? And so I will also put out there that our heart is flesh still. And so the heart can be deceitful. The heart is deceitful above all things. So with that said, which aligns with the prayer she prayed, there are some things that you have to still speak and decree and declare concerning your heart. Because your heart can fool you. And it'll pull you right out of the will of God and into his permissive will. And you'll say, well, my heart never, yes it does. It lies. It's deceitful. So understand what the heart is, what God has said it is. So that when you pray, your prayer aligns similar to the prayer that she prayed. And again, for each person, it is different. Mm-hmm.
I received that from both ends. It's just like now that you said that, now that just to be completely in honesty, that just annoys me even more. I mean, like, not that I'm annoyed at you, I'm just upset now. Because it's like, if it, like, I know that the heart can lie. And it's like, that's the thing. It's like, why are you lying to me?
Because just like the mind can't contain the things of the spirit, the mind is a fleshly aspect of us as human beings. So is your heart. So the word also says, cast down every thought and imagination that would exalt itself above the knowledge of who God is. So that means everything that stands on the side of flesh, that has to be brought subject to the will of God. And the only way to do that is to speak it out and bring it subject in the name of Jesus. that it would align with the will of the Father,
So
as opposed to just believing it because that's what you feel. We're not created by how we feel. We're spirit.
So I guess that, like, what also that added into my noise is like that now that I like being faced with that, with like being reminded that's good. It's not like I didn't know, just be reminded.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's just like, well, what's the game plan now? And I guess it's like,
So the game plan now is for you to go back and say, God, I didn't realize this. Wow, I don't like it. Because you can say, God, I don't like this. I'm disappointed. Because I didn't really understand the depth of this thing. But after today, I got a different understanding. So now, Lord, teach me how to navigate this thing. Because now I've been able to hear that my heart can rear me in the wrong direction. That will pull me out of your will. So I thank you for that becoming revelation to me, even though I don't like it. Because now the enemy can't trick me. Because that's a trick. See, the goal is to make sure that the enemy's schemes are revealed to you so he can't continue to trick you in the areas. So we just gave you some tools. And it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be upset about it. You just got a nugget on how to navigate. That's what we come here for. That's what we come here for. Yeah. So it's okay.
Just have to piggyback on about the areas where I've been upset with myself because it's like, I should have known that. I should have did that. And then I felt like God was telling me, I needed you to I needed you to think that you had it all under control. So I could show you that you did. And then with every, like, like Tom and Nisha was saying, in every moment when we come back and we're saying, like, oh man, Lord, I didn't realize that. I didn't know that. It's an opportunity for God to reveal something about himself. It is the woman at the well who confessed everything to Jesus.
Yes.
Everything. And he said, yes, you are correct when you say you are not married. You just told me everything. And now I'm about to give you something. And then it sends you running. So I just wanted you to take her message and I wanted you to go running.
It just got real in here.
It was all fun and games
until right now.
okay, I don't know what my thought is. I'm just gonna say I'm not content being single. That's honest.
That's honest.
So
this is a safe place for you to be honest.
So, with that being said, when Auntie Tanaisha said the heart is deceitful, it resonated with me because I'm a flight attendant. I get free hotels. It's ample opportunity for me to fall short. So recently, a few months ago, I ran into a guy that was on my flight, and we were going to the same spot. He was cute, dressed. He goes to church every Sunday, prays. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. Getting excited. We went on our first date. It was like a coffee date. Nothing like a mutual spot. And I'm like, okay, look, I'm getting excited. I'm about to tell Auntie Tandi everything. And then he broke it up with me. Like the next week, he was just like, oh, I can't do it. Broke my heart because I was just like, what happened to me? Like, what was wrong with me? We were talking, we thought we had the same goals. Then we still followed each other on Instagram, and he sent heart eyes, and I commented. You know, I'm not one of those girls who waits for the guy to initiate anything. I'm the one that be like, oh, you're cute, or oh, I miss you. Da, da, da. So with that being said, it landed into I had a San Jose layover. He's in Oakland. Me being convenient, I'm like, come to my hotel. I'm in San Jose. I don't have to cross the bridge. Mind you, I landed at 10 p.m. Me being naive, not knowing what guys want to do at 10 p.m. I'm just like, oh, cool, because I'm around a whole bunch of gay people, so I'm not used to a guy being attracted to me in that way. So, long story short, he's like, oh, okay. He's driving 50 minutes. So he's like, okay, I'm driving 50 minutes. And then it was a whole bunch of red flags, but me having this transparent conversation with him, saying, I want to wait till I'm married. I go to church. You think we're like on the same page with this? No, we're not. So he was like, he stopped drinking for 90 days. So I respected that. But he said, do you want me to buy you a bottle? And I said, no, because I would have a 10-hour layover. He's like, okay, cool. So he comes and we go to this hookah spot. Then he comes back to my hotel. He spends the night in my hotel. He was transparent and he told me what his situation was. And he was like, well, I came to really have sex with you. I put myself in a compromising situation because I am in a hotel with this dude. Nobody knows that they're spending night because I'm trying to be sneaky. That could have went badly, but he respected my boundaries. So with that being said, your heart is deceitful because you think something is something and then it's not. That's my little transparency moment.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna sit down.
First of all, can I just say this to her?
First of all, I'm glad you're alive.
Yeah. What? Not only that, but I'm proud of you for sharing because you didn't have to share, and what you just shared was very transparent.
You're not alone.
And you're not alone. Go ahead. I need to tell her that because you got to understand. Yes, this is a safe place, but for her to just share what she shared and be able to acknowledge where her wrong is in it, that's huge. Okay? Because there's some women who won't even acknowledge. Let me just say that. Go ahead.
I can't heal. So it wasn't him, it was God protecting you. So that's mercy. I tell you guys all the time, you dating someone, it should be your prayer. God, if this is not who you have, don't even let me get comfortable in the conversation. Reveal this to me in the conversation. I don't want to go 6 months. I don't want to go a year. And now you got emotions involved. So you want God to show you in the conversation. I promise you, God will show you. But sometimes we don't, we see the red flag and we say, maybe
Stop ignoring the red flag.
Maybe that's not God. Let me give him a couple more conversations. I told you guys this story, right? Well, I told this girl, she was dating and she got tired of dating. She was just falling for the okie dokie. See, you need to stop, pray this prayer. So this dude picked her up. They was driving to a date, right? His music came on. She said, which is cousin word. And he was, the language changed. So they driving, right? His phone rung. And she seen a girl name. And he hit, how you hit the button to decline it. And she said, who's that calling you? Oh, that's just my sister. She said, red flag. She's like, maybe he's telling the truth. She said, to get to the date, And then the waiter said something to me, he started cussing at her and calling her the word, the B word. And she said, God said 3 times. She heard him say 3 times in her ear. She still stayed. And then she said he began to talk and his teeth fell out of his mouth. Literally, they fell out of his mouth. She said, I didn't need no more. She went in the restroom. She called me, right? She said, all is happy. She said, I want to leave, but how do I leave? And he don't feel like I'm disrespectful. I said, you go and tell him that God has showed you some things, and if he don't mind, you will pay for your meal, and he pay for his. So don't even get comfortable in the conversation. Tell God to reveal who this person is. And when he reveal it, you gotta listen. It shouldn't take you 4 times to get it.
Is that what God was saying in her ear 3 times? Like, this is not him, this is not the guy for you, get out of there? Oh, okay. The actual red flags. Okay, that was my only question. So when we talk about red flags, it's the thing that is really important. I remember when I was single, and I remember when I was in counseling, and that was one of the things that I had to learn, to not ignore red flags, because I was the type of person, as a single woman, I would give everybody the benefit of the doubt, right? And in that, I wasn't even praying, because I was just giving them the benefit of the doubt, that was me being me, and not me praying and consulting the Holy Spirit as to who this person is, right? And so the red flags that come up, and if you don't ignore them, it will save your life. Sorry, not save your life, but if you ignore them, yeah, it will save you the heartache in your life. And then if you just accept the fact that you got a bunch of red flags and you ignoring them, it will destroy your life. And I did that in my first marriage. I ignored the red flags. I totally ignored the red flags. And I never forget one Sunday, I was getting ready to go to church and I was getting dressed. And my ex-husband was very angry. Sunday would come, and he knew Sundays was coming. So I would get up like at 7 in the morning and make him breakfast and just make sure everything was right so that I wouldn't have to get into an argument for him to try to stop me from going to church. Listen to this. And I will never forget. I got up that morning, 7 o'clock like I always did, cooked him a hot meal, brought it to him. He took the whole plate of food and threw it at me. I'll never forget it. And it just so happened, I was trying to get something off the floor and I went down the dip. By the time he threw the plate, it had shattered on the wall. So he meant to throw it at me. I cleaned it up. I got dressed and I walked out the door. You could only imagine how when I got to church, not only was I shook up, but I still had to sing. That's why I said you don't understand people's worship or what they've been through or what may have just happened to them before they got to the church. You don't know. But I will never forget that. I will never forget it. Because I remember the feeling I had when that happened to me. And so I said that to say, do not ignore red flags. Don't ignore them, y'all. It's a real thing. Okay.
I'm mad right
I'm glad you said that because I didn't know that you were married before too. And so I have a question for both of you about red flags because we're human too and we make mistakes. So I know y'all had to have made a mistake or two while you were dating. So how did, oh, no? We're going, okay, then I take that back. So I'll just speak for my own.
No.
Okay.
No.
What I'm wondering is like, how do you differentiate something from being a red flag from being like a genuine mistake? Like, yeah.
So, are you saying, because I want to hear you out, can we make a mistake as doing the hokey pokey?
Like, you have a date and you are extremely late for your date. Extremely late. Embarrassingly. Like, that's just, is that a mistake or is that a red flag? And when do you, like, what would make you say it was a mistake? And when I say that, I'm like, okay, this person overslept.
Okay.
First of all, that's not a red flag. Whoever said that. It's not a red flag yet.
Okay.
That's what let's get it.
Traffic.
Okay. So, what I was gonna say. So it's a mistake when I'm sitting and I'm waiting for you and you call me and you tell me what's going on. So now I can sit there patiently and wait. That's okay. Because that means you respect my time. You respect and you know that I'm sitting here waiting for you. But to not call or acknowledge and not say nothing, and you know you're supposed to be meeting me and we on the date. And then on top of that, first of all, I'm not gonna sit and wait hours. I'm leaving. Deuces. But just saying. So if I was the type to just sit there and wait, and I ain't got no phone call, you made no effort to be accountable to what you committed to. Leads me to believe you are not a person of your word. And I have no reason to trust you at that point. Because you said one thing and you did another. And I'm not the one. So if you're going to say something, then you need to be that person. And you need to stand by your word. So if you're going to tell me something, do it. If you're not going to do it, then say you're not going to do it. If you're running late, then tell me you're running late. So to me, if you don't make no type of effort to acknowledge that you're running late or something is going on or something happened, because I'm okay with that, and then that's a mistake. But if you do none of that and you think you can just walk up in 2 hours, an hour, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes late, that's a red flag for me.
Do you give them a chance to explain?
I don't know, because I feel at that point, just like I said, if you know that we have a date, and then if something is going on with you, why would you have a problem with telling me what's going on with you if you're running late? No, to his point. Wait. He said, he made a good point. Okay, my phone died. Okay, your phone died. But I'm still sitting here waiting. So I'm going to give you a grace period. But if I have to get up and I have to leave, by the time you call me to try to explain what went on, it depends on what you say after. Right? It depends on what you say after.
Because he might say, you know what? I haven't dated in 10 years. So to be honest with you, I was scared. I was scared to come in here.
And that's a different conversation. That's a level of transparency because most men ain't gonna admit to that.
They're not gonna be honest with you like that. Yeah.
Yeah, then that's a conversation worth having. But to just not show up or not call or not communicate, I'm saying everybody in this room needs to know that that's not okay.
I didn't do it.
I know. I'm
That's
just
all I was like, I want to get hold on time.
I'm just saying. Wait, give her. Wait.
The show started at 9 o'clock. I picked her up at 6 o'clock.
All right.
And I took her out to eat.
All right.
Then we went to see.
Layla Hathaway. I still remember.
That's next week.
400.
I feel the need to be transparent about it. Because I was seeing someone and this person, he works nights, so he sleeps during the day.
Okay.
So he genuinely overslept by hours.
Okay.
So I wasn't at a place waiting on anyone. I was at home.
Okay.
But
So then in that case, you can extend grace.
Yeah.
Because you know he works at night. You know he overslept. These are things. It'd be different if you did not know that. And I was given the perspective of this person being a stranger. So if you know this person and you know that this person works at night and that person overslept, then that's a conversation worth having, right? He was tired. Something may have went on in his day. Okay, let's talk about that. But then if we go to schedule another day and you oversleep again, now I'm looking at you sideways. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to be able to. So my first scenario was based on somebody you don't know versus somebody you do know. You are already in a relationship or dating or what have you. So then you already kind of know, oh, man, he worked at night. He didn't forgot. He didn't overslept. Okay, you can render grace in that aspect. But if this was just somebody new, random, and he ain't showing up, nope. Because how do you see yourself? How do you see yourself? I love me. Because I got to love me before a man come in my life talking about he loved me.
I love you.
I know you do. But I mean that's real, like, right?
To piggyback off of it, like I feel like what are your non-negotiables when it comes to dating? Can I ask like a general question?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so I'm 17 and what? No, I cover everything. It's already kind of hard out here, so kind of like it's already kind of hard out here, and I've had like my experiences with like trying to get to know people because like she said, I don't normally wait for people to pursue me. I just kind of like go after it and like, hey, what's up? But how do you? Oh, okay.
Okay, babe, I want you to because I've heard that several times in this room. And so I need you to expound a little bit. Go ahead and finish, babe. Was that what you were presenting?
Entirely. Basically, just like how do you know to like let someone pursue you? Because I normally have to be the one who's like pushing, starting the conversation, carrying the conversation.
That's how you know.
Don't.
The words say, "He that finds." he should find you. He should say, you know what? I was over here. I just noticed. I just noticed you. What's your name? Now, if he start out telling you so beautiful, you the beautiful thing I ever seen, tell him. Because that's gay. First thing a man gonna say is, this conversation gonna be more about how can he get to know you better. He's gonna be very respectful. That's how you know it.
That was a really valuable
Yes,
question.
it was.
Very valid, K-Bo. Because I am traditional while my girl is a little bit more advanced, and I appreciate that about her. But no, I think that's a really valid question because, like my sis said here, it is different out here. And like Cass said about right, like I may not be getting all the attention, but I think it's like I think that's also an area where I have to trust God that He will pursue, right? Because I know a lot of us in this room have been in a situation where we have to be the pursuers, we have to be the initiators, and that's another area where I think some of us are learning to trust God.
She would tell you she wasn't looking for a relationship. And I was chasing her. Yeah. Because I know God told me she was the one. But she was not having it.
But I think partly the reason why was because for me personally, I felt like if I compromised and sought him, I knew that was out of order. It was completely out of order. So, as we know, God is not going to bless a mess, okay? So, it was out of order. It was out of order. So, I'm not going to be running after you, period. You're supposed to be seeking me, not the other way around. So, anytime I have to be like, hey, how you doing? And to me, that's more like, I know the world we live in today. It's supposed to be, oh, it's no big deal. It is a big deal. It really is a big deal, right? Because now you trying to gain his attention. Now you being flirtatious. It goes into all kind of other stuff. So no. And then his perception of you is gonna be twisted because of what you presenting. Ah, she ain't the one because she running after me. Now I can finagle that. I'm a play her. I'm gonna play her like a puppet. I'm gonna play with her emotions. I'm gonna make her think I'm this, that, and the other. And then you look up and you be like, how did I end up here? Because you was running after him. And you didn't give him no standards. You didn't say, oh, this ain't happening this way. You either call me and come this way, or this ain't happening. So you don't have no standards.
And by nature, a man is a hunter.
Yeah.
So if he finds something that he wants, he's going to continue to go out and pursue it. Yeah. Took me 6 months.
No.
Omar.
No. It's a different side of it. A different perspective.
Okay, I'm just gonna read this. So, she is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare to her. Think of yourself your top shelf. You're like not everyone's gonna get it, afford it, want it. More get the bottom shelf, like right. So think that way. You don't want all of them coming after you. You want the good ones that want you.
I'm gonna let her ask the question again. Now I understand.
Okay. So while you two were dating, were there ever things that you saw that could have been red flags, but I guess they weren't? And how did you know that they weren't?
Okay. So in our first date,
Come on. Come on.
we were on our date, and Charles was talking like, "Yeah, I used to work for had so and so amount of money, and and it came across as him being boastful and prideful. And I was already in my singleness. I was debt free. Okay, so I was already. I had my thing together.
You turnkey. You ready?
I read.
Turnkey.
Turnkey ready.
Yeah. Come on.
So I was completely like, okay, and so it offended me. It offended me because I was like, okay, so what you saying? None of that means nothing. Like at the end of the day, I hear you, but what you saying? So I literally had went back that same week in my counseling session. I was like,
you went the next day. He called me.
I was like, I don't like him.
True story.
I was like, I don't like him. I don't need him like that. I had just got pre-approved for my own house as a single woman, debt free. Okay, I was like, okay, I don't care what you bring me, because if we come together, then we got double. Because I'm not bringing you debt. So what you saying? And that's where I was at, because I was like, well, whatever. I was like, I don't like him anyway. And that was kind of my attitude at that time. But the reality was that was what I thought was a red flag really wasn't a red flag. He was trying to.
So stop. Let's tell my side.
Okay.
So we was getting counseling from the same person. All pastors counseling us both at the same time. So he called me. He said, "Man, I think you done messed this up." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, she said, you got on a date and you was talking about how much money you making and all that. I said, what? I was being honest. I was telling her, this is what I have. She was already God showed me she was going to be my wife. So I was letting her know, this is what I have, this is what I bring to the table. I have nothing to hide. He said, oh, I get that. So he called her back.
And so when he called me back,
he said, "Digga, give
him." So when he called me back, he understood that my guards were up because I didn't want to be hoodwinked. And so he was able to explain to me what Charles was trying to say versus how it came off. And then in that aspect of things, I was like, oh, okay. All right, I guess. I was really hardball as a single person. Not mean, but I was like very protected. Because my relationship with God was in line and similar to where you are. I understood that because I was like, I had already been through a bad marriage. And I'd already been single. And it wasn't nothing out there. You feel me? And I wasn't looking for nothing out there, but I just knew it wasn't nothing out there. It was just like chaotic. So part of me was like, I have to protect me. And when most people see me, they just see the face. And oh, she pretty. And oh, she this or oh, she that. So what? That means nothing. If I'm not a woman that loves God, my face, my beauty is nothing. But when you add God to it, it's fine.
So I remember I said to you, don't make me pay for what he did to you. I said, don't make me pay for what he did to you. I came to heal.
See, that got me all the way in order. Because that's a husband. And when he said that, I was like, wow, you're right. Absolutely 100%.
So Ben, I put a CD in, NDRE. You guys haven't heard this song? Listen to it. It's called He Heals Me by NDRE. You heard it, Nish? The song is fire.
Yeah. And I would say once in our dating, God began to, he was already beginning to heal my heart, but then he really began to teach me and to help me understand that I didn't get to dictate how he loved me.
Wait, say that again.
God was beginning to teach me that I don't get to dictate how he loves me. Because God created him to love me the way I need to be loved, which superseded how I thought I should be loved.
That's good.
That's deep.
Yeah. And I never forget when I really got the revelation of it. I really got a revelation of it. But when I did get the revelation of it, I then was able to exhale. That's when I became free to love him without constraint. Because I really realized, I'm like, God sent you to heal me by loving me the way God intended for it to be. And that's a big difference. Because we associate love to, oh, I'm with you and I love you. But it's far more deeper than that. So when he began to love me the way God designed him to love me, it was easy not only to love him back, but everything in my life was different. My relationships were different. My intimacy with the Father heightened. Now it was, well, babe, what you think about this? Okay. Well, now I don't have a problem with submission. Now I don't have no problem with following your lead. Because I don't have nothing holding me. Now I'm free. And this is what happens when God chooses the man to find the wife.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So like how you were saying, like when you were ready to like, be able to submit, what is that like exactly? Because I know for me, like I was already kind of raised to be independent, and don't laugh, mom. Yes, I very much was. I kind of grew up kind of knowing that, you know, I was kind of gonna have it together, and I do have to. I like to be the person that has the control, and so that kind of messes things up with my relationship with God because there's a lot that I have to kind of let go of because I can't control everything. And so, what does that even look like? You know, like being in a relationship.
So, yeah, that is a good question. So for you, you're referring that question to if you're in a relationship? Just in general? Okay, so then I'll give two perspectives. So if you're in a relationship, what that begins to look like, that submission should be submission unto God. That's what the submission is. That's where you learn. That's how you learn real submission. And your submission looks like being consistent and being dedicated to the word of God, staying in prayer, being available to the things that God wants you to work on. So for example, you said control. well, you're not in control. God is in control, right? So if your relationship this way is not aligned and is not in order, then your relationship this way won't. Okay? So that means if you're in a relationship with another human being and your relationship with God is not in order and it's not aligned, then the relationship this way is not going to be aligned. And then if you're single and you're not in a relationship, then your submission again is the same way. There is no difference in the two. It's still submission to the Father. Because that's the thing He is birthing in you. Because you can't become the wife with another human being without that relationship being in alignment. Because God is not gonna, He's not gonna allow you to put something else above Him. So I hope that answered your question, because it's really, that's the relationship. That is the submission. I wouldn't have known how to submit without hearing the voice of God concerning Him. It was God who said, you don't get to dictate how He loves you because I have created Him to love you. You don't know what love is. So now I'm bringing you an aspect, a little trinket of my agape through this man that I brought into your life. So stop trying to dictate and tell him what you want when I sent him already equipped with what you need. We as women, we want to control so much stuff. We want to control it. We want to dictate it. We want to, and we lose. We lose. We lose. We lose. Because we don't know how to pull back. And you didn't, if you don't learn it in your singleness, you're not going to have it in your married life. We don't know when to be quiet. So those are the things that have to be worked on.
That's it. Anybody else?
That was I will say a very vulnerable question.
Yeah.
Because in my single that was
Wait. I need you to have it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say that was like a very vulnerable moment for me, because I remember that actually being a question to God. How can I teach my daughter how to be a wife when I'm not a wife? And that, right, showing her my relationship with God has been.
That's it. Oh, back to you.
To piggyback what Ninja was saying, that is true, because a lot of people, well, I'll say myself, I was raised in a single parent household with my mom. She's a strong Black woman. So she had to be the mom and the dad in the situation. So my question was, what you got to answer, but how do I submit to a man when I never really had a man in the household to show me the way to lead correctly? Because that's my situation where you say you do one little thing and my listening ears are off. And I need to learn how to trust men and what they say, because why am I dating you if I can't listen? If that makes sense.
And that's a great point you made. But the first thing for you is not having a father present requires some healing to take place in you first. Right? So I was raised in a household with another man. which I know is rare, right? But in my own life, I had to raise a child in a one-parent household. So the question you presented is the same question I had to face for my own child. No matter the fact that me and her father used to be married and no longer married, it went from a two-parent household to a one-parent household. And for her healing process has been a very long process of that. And when me and Charles got married, he's a different type of man, but he's also a godly man. He is a father. He is a dad. He is a loving father. But it was also her healing, was also the reflection of the relationship that she didn't have with God herself, her level of intimacy with the Father. And are you in a place, are you vulnerable enough to say, Father, I need you to be my Father. I need you to fill that void in me when I didn't have a father. Because you don't want that to be the thing that caused you to become hard-hearted. Or put you in a place where you miss God in the midst of a thing because you couldn't be vulnerable enough to say. I remember when I got delivered from abandonment. Because just because I had both parents didn't mean I didn't get abandoned. See, I've been on my own since 18. And I was abandoned by both of my parents. But I remember when God, because God was all I had. So I learned to go to the Father and say, I'm wounded. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm disappointed. What am I supposed to do with this? And I remember when he began to take me through the process of healing from being abandoned. Because that was the thing that actually was holding my life back. So if I had just accepted, oh, I've been abandoned, and then I just let that be there and never take it to God, I wouldn't be the person God has created me to be today. So even though you didn't have a father in the house, God is your father. He replaces the void. Jesus is the fact. So whatever it is that was not present when you were a child, Jesus can heal that too. So even though your mom had to raise you as a single parent, in your place of where you are now, if that's an area that you know still is like unsettled in you, I want you to take it to God and let him heal that. Because that's a void. And God needs to feel that.
Okay, it's not a void anymore. I'm healed with that. I think it's more so since my father is a controlling father. I don't know how to relinquish that control aspect in my man, but I never really dated either. But I can feel it when I am dating, and they just say stuff where they're like, "Oh, I'm the man. I should make the rules." It just gets me irritated because I'm just like, what is the difference between relinquishing the control for the man or letting your wife have like say so or like input? Because I know as a woman we're supposed to let the man lead, but what is the difference between letting them lead and being controlled? If that
He only should lead if he's being led by God. If he's been led by God, he won't tell you I'm in control.
And I was going to say to Charles's point, honestly, he summed it up. Anytime a man is being led by God, he's very careful. No matter what the conversation is, even if he's upset, he's very careful about it. He talks to me in a low tone. He not saying that we haven't gotten arguments or yelled at each other or whatever the case may be, but I can tell you 95% of the time, this man comes to me and he talks to me with respect and honor. So is it easy for me to follow his lead? Absolutely 100%. Because when he goes to open his mouth, I can sense the love of God in that. It's not him ruling with an iron fist. He's put thought into it. And then that also is aligned with me praying too. If it's something he's saying and I'm not in agreement with it, but he feels strongly about it, all I gotta do is go to the phone and say, okay, God, he feels strongly about this, but I need you to show me. I need you to show it to him from my perspective, and then we meet in the middle. And that's how that works. So usually when you have trouble with, and if the man is ungodly, then that's where your walk come up at. Because if you trusted that person, then you would easily flow. But if there's distrust there, you don't trust them. So you automatically go fight against the thing you don't trust. Or you're in fear of where they're leading you. So that's what that is. So you have to identify with why am I combative? What is it that I don't like about what I'm sensing with the situation? And anytime we feel like we are being drawn into something that's unsafe, we're going to fight against it.
And sometimes God put a good man right in our face. We don't even see him. Sometimes he's right in your face, and you're saying there's a shortage of man. But sometimes we don't even see him because he's not dressed up like we want him to be. We got this our own book of how the man gonna be. You need to be 6'5", gotta be muscle, gotta have a 6-figure.
And you're looking for the man that ain't in the presence of God.
There's a song that says, looking for love in all the wrong places. Sometimes we don't even see it.
Mom had her hand up. I did. I got it. So, so there's a lot of wisdom that spoke out, and it's kind of hard for me to remember everything, but I just want to double check. I listen. Funny thing, I wasn't even planning on coming today.
I dragged her.
We walked together because we were in midst of conversation and we were trying to finish the conversation. And I ended up here, and I was like, "Well, you got me walking all the way over here. I might as well stay." Because I felt like it was a need, and I'm glad I did.
I'm glad you did too. We missed you.
Oh. But so okay, I'm sorry, I got distracted. So I wanted to double check my way of thinking. So, so we were first talking about red flags, but that's what I'm saying. I've been holding this in for quite some time. So red flags to me is like, as soon as I feel like my values are not being understood, as soon as I feel like, as soon as like I feel like I'm in danger or I feel like my morals are trying to be compromised, red flag. That's how I end it. Things happen, like I feel like I do a pretty good job for myself, or like talking to someone in less than a month. That's how it just basically ends, or a lot less, like a lot less. But also, it's just that, and then regarding about um, fathers, abandonment. So I I recounted with my dad recently, after two years ago. Not saying that my dad has never been in my life. You guys know who my dad is. But it's just that there was just things that we did not talk about. And as an adult, I had to tell him, like, with an honesty about how upset I was and how I was raised and what I missed out on and what I wasn't agreeing with. And what I want more of, and when I wanted more of him, I wanted more of my grandparents. I wanted more of a relationship with everyone because I felt like I missed out. But also in a way that it's not just him that I felt from abandonment from him. There was also I felt abandonment from my mother, and in ways that, why don't you just go live with your dad kind of conversations. So it's like that went into my relationship with people in general, a feeling of abandonment, like I can't trust people to stay. I can't, like, how do I, like, the core people in my life that should have stayed, the core people who should never have thought of leaving or even represent of leaving of any kind of degree, kind of did. They disappointed me. And so it's like, I'm not saying I never had these discussions with God, but through your testimony, your transparency, kind of revealed to me, like, I don't think some matters were touched on, like internally, because I still have somewhat of fear that also transpired into my bill of like figuring out whether if this guy is really meant for me or not. Because it's like, if you're not able to talk about the dude, if like, I agree if I should come to you, and this is how I kind of made it into my mindset, is that I'm not going to put mine to take the job away from you as a man to come and approach me, because I feel like if you don't, then you're not there's like, if I put myself forward, then I'm doing all the work. There's some guarantee in there that he'll leave me, because it's not like he went out to go search for me and go hunt me down. I did my work, and I feel like I'm giving too much of a leeway, and there's more chances to just that relationship to fail, you know? And so it's like, and then there's the idea of not, like, how do you like lose, like, take away from control? Because I'm an independent woman. I was raised by independent women all my life, strong women in my whole entire family. Not a single man in my whole life, but like has stood in such a like a grand standing where this is like there's a man to look up to. Never. And it's like, it's hard for me to imagine at times, like, what is that going to be like when that possible man is there.
Well, let me tap into that just 1 second. The reason why what you said is so pivotal because a lot of us have been really raised up in strong, dominant women families, right? And so, with that said, you guys, before you guys leave, hold on, I'm sorry. Hold your thought, you guys. Please take some food because we never got to the food. I know. So if you guys want to, as I'm talking, if you want to just go ahead and fix you a plate, please do so. Chips. What is it? It's chicken pulled pork, and it's hot. So please help yourself. Please, I need you to please take a plate to go because I don't want to take all this food back home. But to your point, many of us have been raised in predominant a single mom household, strong women, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? The only problem with it is it depicts a picture of being a part of just not having that man figure to really understand the order of God and how God originally intended for things to be. So then what happens is it distorts what God intended. Not so much because you were raised up in a strong family with a lot of women. I was too. But I had to learn to do things God's way, not how I was raised up in tradition. I had to set tradition to the side to learn God's way. And here's why. Because, yes, I was raised in a family of strong women, but all the women ain't got no husband either. Okay? So when I got married to Charles, and they was roaring about what they felt like I should or should not do, I was like, I'll talk to my husband first. You gotta talk to your husband. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I know you don't understand that, but yes, ma'am, I do. Me and him are one, and we talk about everything. So if my husband was cool with it, I was cool with it. If he ain't cool with it, I ain't cool with it. Because he plays a huge role as my protector. Period. So it's God, my husband, me, the children, and then the church. That's the order of God. So anytime that order comes undone, you out of order. And so when I didn't have a husband, it was God, me, and my daughter, and then the church. And then when my husband came, it was God, my husband, me, my daughter, then the church. That order don't change. It don't say nothing about God, your mama, you, the kids, then the church. I'm just saying. I'm making it practical so you can get it in your mind.
So does the kid, so your husband,
The husband. My husband gets served first. My husband. Because see, this is what happens, and this is where you have to really be careful as women when you don't understand what honor means. As him being the head of your household. If you don't learn how to honor God, then you won't know how to honor your husband. It goes back to the order. It goes back to the order. When you honor God and God teaches you about honor and trust and healing and all those things, then when he brings you a husband, you're not going to have no problem with being your husband's biggest cheerleader. You're not going to have no problem lifting your husband up. You're not going to have no problem with praying for your husband. I didn't say he's going to come perfect. So that's why you're going to have to be shaped, molded, and understand that your first position is not talking and fighting him with your words, But your first position will always be prayer. Because God supersedes your husband. And it eliminates you from running your mouth, trying to get him to do what you want him to do when all you got to do is go to God. Because God is above him. And this is what needs to be taught to women.
I'm like, I do I want
She sick God on me all the time. That's okay. I'm just gonna talk to God.
I don't have to war with my husband. I don't have to war. I don't have to fight. I don't have to get my point across. I have to know my position. And that's the difference. And if older women, seasoned women, would get this, they would be farther along. But they don't want to. They don't want to humble themselves. They think they already know. Well, if you already knew, you wouldn't kind of be in the predicament you're in.
I want to share a little bit about my parents too, if I may.
Yes.
I'm very lucky. My parents are obsessed with each other, and they have been for the last 25 years. Woo! They recently celebrated their 25th and
Amazing.
And I celebrated right with them because I'm like a manifest. I'm their first kid, their first daughter, and it was really just the three of us when we came to America. So big reliance on each other. And when I look at them, I also like second the idea that it's really hard to let go of that control as someone who's also pretty independent, used to be someone who would like make the first move. I let go of that a while ago because I'm like, I'm tired of this. But I see in my mom someone that I still really look up to, someone who's still super independent, but just has this trust for my dad in the way that he leads. And it's a tender balance, and you can see it. They're constantly like checking in with each other, even without their words. They're like aware of each other and each other's needs and wants. And I think that's the important part. Is like he's not just leading blindly. He's constantly turning around to you, like, okay, where do we go next? You give your advice. It's more like you like have collected in yourself information that you need to move forward to. And I know that for sure. Whenever I meet my person, he's also gonna be as much of a like an analyze, taking everything into account. Like there's a trust there. It doesn't like I will be happy to follow because I trust you, but you got to be able to listen to me too.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I hear when I hear the word submission. I don't hear like, dang, I'm gonna have to be like serving this man and cooking all the time and doing all the laundry. Like, no, like my mom does that. Maybe she doesn't like doing it all the time, but it's like because she loves us and because she loves my dad, and my dad does his own things, and like there's this like balance, and it really just the cord of three strands really does make it stronger. It really is just when it's the three of you, there's no shaking that. Yeah, but that's what I see, and that's like what I pray for.
That's so good.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay, this group taught me that I don't think I really want to be married. Not like that, but I have to work on myself in the submission category. Because
So don't say.
okay, I have to work on myself so I can be married. Because listening, I've realized, and I'm going to be very consistent in this group because I did join for the wrong reason. This transparency. I wanted to find my man. But I've learned that this group is so much more than this, than finding your spouse. So I just have a lot to work on in this group, and I'm going to be consistent and growing in that aspect. So when it is time for me to find mine, or for my mate to find me, I won't be the man in the relationship, if that makes sense.
Yes, my God. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. It's really my heart's desire to teach women how to be a woman of power and silence. Silence says so much. Meekness says so much more. It is a power to it.
Well, what she just said is for me too, but the opposite. I'm going to be consistent. I wasn't, besides my schedule being busy, I was like, I don't want to go to single group because I'm not looking, I'm not interested in that. But there's so much more. There's so much wisdom and knowledge and just building each other up. So much more than just a relationship with another person, So I too.
Can you share, Elle, when we talked to Ricky today
What part?
about the single village? That people are confused.
Oh yeah. We were just saying that there needs to be so much more education. How that looks, we don't really know, but there needs to be a lot more open conversation around singleness, singles ministry that we have now, and all of that, because we're finding, and today too is proof of that again and again, that there's preconceived notions that everyone probably has. I mean, I'm sure you guys have friends in the church. Which of your friends are also single, and not to say like they have to be here with us necessarily, but well.
Because for me,
Wait, microphone.
I can talk louder.
No, because honestly, like transparency, for me, I want to see more godly marriages, godly couples, godly people around me, because in this world, I'm the light. The light gets dim sometimes. So when I see you guys' marriage, and when I did see Pastor Tanya and Pastor Dennis's marriage in our old church, and now I see Pastor Ricky and his wife, Pastor Vicky, it's like, okay, it can happen for us. Because I get discouraged very easily, because I'm the only one now in my family that is the only single one. My sister is in a relationship, and she's younger than me. So that was discouraging for me at one point in time, and now I'm like happy for her, but I'm not really internally. I'm happy for her, but I'm not happy because I'm still the single one. So, with that being said, I want to be committed to this ministry, not just because I want to find my husband at the end of this, but I've learned that I have some things to work on, like selfishness, not listening, not leading. Not letting people lead, and all that. So,
Not so much.
You see what you just said? You got a whole lot of things to work on. He can't come until you fix you.
No, there was a podcast.
there was a podcast that said, if your husband was a fly on the wall, what would he see? And when my best friend sent that to me, I was like, dang. He will see this organization. He'll see me going back and forth. He'll see me being late to my job. Like, he'll see so many things that will just tear. Like, he wouldn't want to marry me. As much as I'm nice, caring, loving, and all that, I don't have the characteristics to really be a godly wife. So, with that being said, at the moment, but yeah, at the moment, And so, yeah, it just needs to be developed.
Just need to be developed.
So yeah.
I'm done talking.
Babe Cheryl had.
So because you guys were talking about being committed to the single, so like I myself had that miss. I think the word I just. Thank you. Y'all know where I was going. Yeah, about what it was about. And Tommy can tell you, she was out there at the table, and because I knew her from midweek Bible study stuff. So I was talking to her, and I was like, "Oh no, singles no." She was like, "You coming?" I was like, "Oh no. All the other churches I've ever been to, it was always a matchmaking thing." And I'm like, "I'm not trying to be matchmade. I've been married. I've been divorced. I've been in relationships. I've been hurt. I'm done. I'm good." But how many times did I come back to the table talking to you after I would walk back to the sanctuary and sit down when you come back?
Yeah, I think it
At
was
least 3 times.
at least, yeah,
At
I
least
was
3
about to say 2 to 3 times.
And on the last one, she actually showed me that little pamphlet where it talks about the sunflower and following the sun. That's what got me. That's what made me come. Because I kept telling her, "Oh, I might." But I went on ahead and came, and then we planted that flower, like I said, and I've been here ever since. I got grouped into the team just hanging around helping. But I know it's part of my gift that I have to serve and everything. But I went from the book club with us reading single, dating, engaged, married. I went from reading that book saying, "No, I am not getting married," to switching to saying, "If God brings it,
That part.
then I'll take it." But me and myself, no, I already know because I'm a firm believer, and I will get on Facebook and tell you if you do it. I put up there. No, you are not to be looking for him. He is to look for you. That's what the word says. You can't do it no other way. The word says he. It didn't say she who finds a husband. Because think of it this way. If you look at just what the scripture says. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. Well, if you find him, you're not his good thing. He obtains favor from the Lord. No, he does not if you find him. You have to look at the whole picture.
That's good, sure.
And so, see, that's why I said, for me, I'm committed. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here. I'm going to help. I'm going to do whatever I can. And sadly, I think I need counseling.
That's okay.
I'm being funny that I used the word sadly, but no, I did. I know I need to come here. No, because there's things that going forward in life, period, I know there's other things that I need to address.
Amen.
I'm not trying.
Well, that was my thought too, but sometimes people don't go that way, but yeah.
So I'm going to give you guys homework. I need you to talk to at least 3 people that you know that are single and tell them why they need to be. Because I think it's going to have to come from you guys. So, because you can go back and share what is all about.
What it really is.
Yeah. You'll get you have their buy-in. I think that's what we're missing because we're trying to do it, but I think it's going to have to come from word of mouth.
Yeah.
So just as he said that, I already shared this with Tanya. No, it wasn't Tanya, it was somebody else. But anyway, just to give you guys a heads up, in our group on Teams, there's like 80 some odd people in this room. How many of us show up in here? So like they said, we do. We need to put it out there. Like remember how I was telling you about the men. We need to put it out there. We have to be the ones to tell them why it's important for them to get in.
Yeah, I think to Charles's point, they don't know how much they need it, right? Because they have drawn their own conclusion as to what they believe it to be. And so the unfortunate part about it is what we talked about a little bit earlier about being hoodwinked. It's the enemy's goal that they not realize that they need. So that their life can begin to shape and mold the way God intends for it to become. Again, that's why this book that we just read was so critical. So critical. And to your point, I believe we weren't reading it because it was so critical. So with that said, honestly, this has been amazing. I've heard that it has been helpful to everyone who is here, those that have stayed. Things are getting ready to happen for SALT, and we don't want anybody to miss out. It doesn't matter the age. We don't want anybody to miss out. I think sometimes people get caught up in the age, but at the end of the day, when Ebony started this thing by herself, God had already equipped her with everything she needed to lead. And then when he brought in myself and Charles, he equipped us to be able to come and oneness with Ebony and lead this ministry. And it will not fail. It will be exactly what God intended for it to be here at Revival Center. So, again, just share with others, share your own personal testimony. You don't have to try and sell SALT. Share your own personal testimony about what it's done for you. That will speak volumes to other people. Sure.
This is just a suggestion for everyone that showed up. Maybe put a takeaway or something that you got from this meeting in the chat so that those that are already assigned or enrolled in the chat and did not come can see the nuggets that everyone got from this meeting. And maybe that'll give them a little more encouragement and a little more buy-in to come the next time around.
Everybody in the team chat.
Yes, everybody is right. Okay. Oh, good. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think this ends our session. Yeah.
So friendly all together. Remember in the beginning, like I'm fine. No,
Simone.
Oh. Wait, what part? You said I'm fine. I don't. Are we all gonna? Well, I thought that I was trying to clarify that I thought that I didn't need counseling, but I also was giving myself grace. I thought I didn't need counseling, but at the same time, I had to talk to myself and give myself grace that I don't know everything. That just because I might think a certain kind of way doesn't mean I know anything. And what someone else may see is something I probably hid, but I didn't hide it well enough. I hid it from myself, or I buried it on top of other situations or things that I had going on in my life that kept me busy and kept me tired and kept me off from thinking about it. But just because I'm not in view of it doesn't mean that people around me can't see what I know. So, yeah. Hence the numbness.
No, don't apologize. Don't apologize.
I could be in this discussion forever. I truly enjoy everyone. Just like this is what I've been. God really hears my prayers. I've been praying for this. It's like I have all these ideas and things that I want to say, and like someone to like mull them over with. And I used to think that was going to be a man, but look at us. Look at us. But I think. What was I going to say? This is something that I felt like in the middle of our conversation was like the true mystery of faith, right? It's called a mystery because I felt the most miserable when I thought I knew everything. And I felt the most joy when I realized I was like, all right, God, that's all you. And I think that that's like the beautiful thing though is when you let go and realize like I'm not meant to understand and dissect everything. Like there's this thing that maybe God will reveal to me later or heal in me later, and that in His own time it'll all be perfect and wonderful and work out in the end, like believing in that just releases so much of like the stress that comes with like, you know, like how we talked about like that tension, like sitting there. Like I'm not sitting for nothing. I'm doing a lot right now to cultivate the life that God had so meticulously planned for me. So by not doing that, that's like, you know, it's like, you know, by ignoring that and thinking that I'm just in some kind of waiting period, it's disrespectful to what God is trying to do in my life. So, you know, yeah, I really appreciate the space tonight. And like I said, I could talk here forever. But yeah, I hope to see y'all at midweek. That's also where I hang.
She said it's disrespect.
Babe, can you go ahead and pray us out, and then we'll cut the music on, and I'm gonna.
Heavenly Father, we just want to say thank you for being in the midst of everything that took place. We pray that it was pleasing in your sight. We pray that everybody took something away from today. Take it, learn from it, share it with someone. We just want to give you all the praise, Lord. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Yes. Amen. So you took your phone off the music? Okay. Can you cut the music up a little bit? He's gotten away with not saying one word, so.
He was shaking his head.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't say. I mean, I was shaking his head. Everybody. I know. Yeah. No, they no. They don't. Yeah, I said in the morning. Then yeah. Oh. And then and frankly, I'm about to make some decisions this week. I need the right decision.
Okay, well, can you want to share a little bit with me? Hold on, let me stop this.